Everyday Taipei, and today we are going to Tamsui. So just to show you where it is in relation to everything, Taipei 101, Shilin Night Market, Taipei Main Station. Okay, so we're going here, Tamsui. It's at the end of the red line, and usually I tell you which exit to get off of, but there is no really wrong exit. It's the last stop. So we're gonna get off, go and walk along this riverfront here, and then end at the ferry building. So like I said, there isn't really a bad exit to get off of. It's the last stop, and there's no underground walkways or anything, or any escalators to go up out of. You're good. If you really are lost, follow the crowd, really. Especially on a weekend, most people are going to be tourists from Taipei, so just follow it. You really just have to walk towards the end of the line, or at the end of the building. There's going to be a park, and then you really can't mess up from there. Like I said, or may have not said, this was filmed during the Moon Festival holiday, and if you're not familiar, I made another video that you can take a look at. It's called the Shida Night Market video that I made. But basically, if you missed that, the Moon Festival is the second biggest holiday after Chinese New Year. It coincides with the 8th month of the 15th day of their Chinese calendar, and it's said to coincide with the fullest moon and also their harvest. So basically everybody gets 4 days off, and this was particularly special because it was nice weather. Some would say hot. I would say it was pretty hot, but it was nice weather, and it was a 4-day weekend, so of course a lot of people are going to be here. So there's tons of people. Like I said, the weather was nice. It was a cold week actually prior to this, and then it jumped up back to summer levels pretty much. So it was 90 degrees, maybe I think 30 to 33 degrees Celsius. Don't quote me on that. That's not, that's the ballpark. I'm not too sure about my Celsius units. But back to the park, or back to the station, you just exit and then you walk towards the end of it, and you're presented with this park here. If you see to the right, there's a street in the middle of the buildings, and that's the Night Market Street. And to the left of those buildings is the Riverside walk that we're gonna go on. Almost the same. I would say the Riverside actually has a little bit more of a night market type of vibe to it. It has a few games and more of like night market food, but there is actually literally the street side also has like a little night market area too. I don't think it's super well known for anything in particular, but there's a lot of shops and a lot of food along there. Basically, the whole length that we're walking, there's basically a whole another street to the right of that where it has more food and more shops. So times everything by 2. I would say this side, has more like snacks and stuff, because you're walking along the waterfront. You want to pick up a snack or like go to a seafood restaurant. That's the type of vibe you get on this side. You'll see it. A lot of people here, because they think, oh, it's the beach side, you'll get a lot more like seafood type snacks. Yeah. But if you're not familiar with Tamsui, it actually was really important when I was researching it. I never knew, but like 400 years ago, it was actually like a Spanish fort. There was a Spanish fort here, and then there was a Dutch fort here, and then it was a really big port city back in the day, and then it kind of transitioned to what it is today. It's kind of more of like a university town and kind of more of a suburb area. A little backstory on this MRT station: it actually was finished construction in 1997, so ever since then there's been a huge amount of development that's happening here. And so the apartments, the level of apartments generally is a lot higher than what you would expect in the city, and for a lot less money. It's a little bit far out, so if you're coming from like Taipei Main Station, I think it's still like half an hour from there. So it is quite a ways out. If you're like me and you're kind of a resident, that's a little bit too much of a commute into the city, but you will get like cheaper prices, and I think I could make a whole nother video just on like the types of apartments here, like just the array of different styles of apartments is pretty crazy, because you can find ones that are like 70 years old and just like the layout of it is crazy. As you can see, we kind of just passed a temple there. It's always automatic, man. Whenever you go to an attraction, there's going to be a night market, there's going to be a temple, and you always got to check those two things out. They're always pretty cool. It's always interesting to see the statues and the artwork there, so if you want, go check those out. Always a good time. But yeah, like I said today, it was hot today, so everybody's kind of sticking to this main walkway here, but every once in a while you'll see to the left side there's actually this pretty big park that people are hanging out and chilling at. But today, since it was too hot, and as you can see, like, it seems like a newer park because the trees there aren't really there's not a lot of coverage there, so it was really hot today, and so you don't see a lot of people hanging out there. But usually if you kind of like buy a snack, you can find a place to sit here, or there'll be like a performer over there, and it's actually a pretty cool lookout. You can see like the other side of the river, and you can see there's a new bridge here that connects the two sides, and so that's kind of an interesting thing. Some would say it kind of messes with the skyline, but that side actually doesn't get a whole lot of love, and so it's really interesting to think about what's going to happen next, because it's pretty inaccessible, especially if you don't have a car, if you don't have a scooter. Like, I never went over there, so now that there's like a railway, there's like an above ground rail station car system here in Tamsui, and that's going to go to that side of the river. And funny enough, the town over there is called Bali, so you automatically get kind of like tropical vibes from it. We'll see. I've not been to that side. Apparently there's a night market on that side as well. But before there was an MRT here, and then before like a lot of other places, these places were hard to get to, and so it brings a lot of people and a lot of money, so hopefully there's more investment on that side as well. But yeah, you just get your snacks, find a good snack, go to this park, you can sit down and take a look at all the water. But like you can see here, you see that game there, the dart balloon game. That's typical night market game stuff. So you get a lot of those fun types of games. Might be a good date night, I guess. Go over here, get a nice little snack, play some of the games. Or a fun time out. Do you need to be on a date? No, you don't need to be on a date to have fun. Yeah. Another thing, okay, so two things maybe that are kind of special here is the ice cream cones. You might have saw it in the beginning of the video, these ice cream cones that they kind of like serving out, but they make them like super extra long. And that's not something I see everywhere. I don't think the flavors are too special, but I really don't see that everywhere like you do most of the things in the night market. In night markets, you usually see the same things over and over again, and so that is something I don't see that often. Another thing that's kind of special here is the Turkish ice cream servers. There's a few of them dotted along this walkway, so if you miss one, don't freak out. There's like 2 or 3 more. But it's like the ones that, if you've ever seen it on YouTube, like these guys that kind of like play pranks with their customers. They like pretend like they're giving it to them and they really pull it away, or they give them like an empty cone and all of that. So that's here actually. Like, I don't know if it's in any other place in the world, but like that is here as well. So you'll see it. You saw in the beginning of the video. There's like a few of them, and you know, people will go there and they'll play all those little tricks on them, and it's kind of funny, and they're kind of iconic here now. I was talking to somebody and they said, like, that guy in the beginning of the video, he's been here for like, I don't know how long, 10 years, 15 years, some crazy amount. So they made their name here. They're a part of the cultural fabric of Tamsui. So maybe, you know, support them by buying their ice cream. Saying that, I probably wouldn't, just because I don't want everybody laughing at me while I, you know, get tricked a bunch of times trying to grab my ice cream. It seems like there's a lot of seating area here, though. You see this? There's like a bunch of like benches, so really well thought out. In some places, like, it's really hard to find like any like public seating areas. I kind of said that in my like Dongmen video. Check that one out too. It's kind of like, it's such a grab and go society, like, especially with these, especially in this place where you're like getting a snack. You kind of want to sit down. You don't want to, you know, sometimes you want to rest and eat and kind of people watch. And so like this place does it really, really well, where like you can really just sit down and take in the sights. It's coming up. Oh, look at that. Shout out 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven shout out. But yeah, basically this ferry building that we're going to end on is kind of what the bridge used to be. It'll ferry you to the other side of the river. And so you can check it out there. I haven't personally done it. And now that this bridge is here, you can kind of just take a streetcar there. It's still a pretty big hub. Like, that little square area has a lot of things going for it too. You know what's missing from this video? Not a lot of boba alerts, and I apologize for that in advance. I usually center some of my videos around boba, but I guess there isn't. I mean, there is a lot of boba here, but nothing super special on this Riverside. When I make a video about the street side, there's a few, more than a few, like a gaggle, a bunch, a plethora of milk tea spots on that side. Another thing that's kind of special here is there's a special food item. I'll put the link in the description down below. I cannot pronounce it, but it's kind of like this wrap with like rice noodles in it, and it has like this special red orangey sauce. I'll put up the name in the video right now, but yeah, I've had it. It's pretty good. If you're here, you might as well have it, you know. I'll put links in the description. It's very specific to this area, and so that's kind of one of the things, like, if you go there, you have the seafood or you have these special dishes. But this is the ferry building area here. So you saw there was another Turkish ice cream parlor. There's another long like ice cream dispenser over here on the other side of it. But this is the square for the ferry port. Yeah, so this is the end of the walk. I'll make another video on the road side. So if there's anything else that you wanted to see, just leave it in the comments down below. I'd be happy to check it out for you. And I'll be seeing you.